We'll be starting in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're here to talk about the next round of submissions for BARD grants. And I'm here with BARD Director, Professor Yoram Kapulnik. We'll start with the introduction, just to let you know a little bit more about who we are and what we do. I just want to say before we start, we'll have time at the end for questions, and the chat is open for questions. We might not be able to answer all your questions today, so if your question wasn't answered and you still need assistance from us, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to answer all your questions.
Okay. Good afternoon to you here in Israel, and good morning to you elsewhere. My name is Yoram Kapulnik, and I'm the director of BARD. I'm very happy to host you here today for our webinar. I can see some of the people are very much familiar with BARD, but others are not. Even though we are presenting everything today, it's really worthwhile to stay until the end of our presentation. So basically, BARD is a funding agency, and in our today webinar, I will shed more light on BARD, some introduction about BARD, and later on, the whole application process will be covered by Chaim Katz, and we'll stay here to give you some tips for creating a strong proposal for application. Please, as Judith said before, stay with us for a Q&A. We will try to cover most of the items which are relevant beforehand, but maybe some of the questions will stay here for you. Okay, so to those of you who are not familiar with BARD, BARD was initiated 48 years ago with the main mission to support collaboration between American and Israeli scientists in order to solve issues which are relevant to agriculture, food, and nutrition. And what we do, we are funding projects, and not only that, but we have a very wide portfolio, which including some fellowships, graduate student, postdoc, and senior scientists, and even we support some workshop. In a matter of fact, we try to touch down to every meaningful aspect in the value chain, which comes from an idea of developing a good scientist and bring it to the level that he or she will be able to contribute to the agriculture. Now, our mission, of course, we are trying to concentrate on those projects which have applicable meaning. We really want to see tangible results which are coming out of it. They can be applied back in agriculture in a given time. We don't really requesting that at the end of the project the product will be there, but we really want to see you all working on relevant topics to the agriculture, to the improvement of agriculture. So what is really unique about BORD, and you're going to see here today, we are very agile, and we're responding to the needs of the agriculture of both countries, not only by creating and choosing the priority area, but also developing new platform in order to direct the research to a better results for the agriculture. You're going to hear about it more and more during this meeting. Most of our changes that we created this year are relevant to this item, developing more suitable program, and this is the pioneer that you are going to hear about it later on. Now, basically, the stakeholders of BARD are the USDA in the United States and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Israel, and the Ministry of Finance, the Israeli Ministry of Finance. Again, BARD runs competitive funding program that support collaborative agriculture, food and nutrition R&D in areas of mutual interest to United States and Israel. Now, BARD has a very dedicated board. Americans, of course, each one of them is approved by the Secretary of Agriculture, at least the United States representative, the Secretary of Agriculture. The same goes to the Israeli one. You probably you'll be surprised to see, but we have on the left-hand side, this is the representative of the Minister of Agriculture, Professor Oded Shosayev, well-known professor in Israel. Dr. Michal Levy, she is the Chief Scientist of the Ministry of Agriculture, and the representative of the Minister of Finance, Orel Chaim, and he is actually from the budgetary division in the Ministry of Finance. Now, BARD has a wide portfolio, as I just mentioned before. So we have the research project that we are going to talk about it more intensively today. We have the feasibility study. Feasibility study is a 1-year research. Again, Chaim is going to touch down to it later on. And we have the different fellowships that we are not going to speak about it now. But please be aware that on the top of what we call it the main program here, we have auxiliary program. And today, the program or the track that is relevant for the pioneer is the aquaculture and desert farming. So we are going to talk, in a matter of fact, on application of a pioneer to both tracks of application. Now, please bear in mind that BARD has priority areas. Once every couple of years, we are revisiting our priorities, and you can find those priorities on our website. You can see each one of these priorities has a sub This is a title, of course, and other topics, subtopics. And you can see right away that we are covering a wide array of topics which are relevant to agriculture, from starting from ag economy through crop improvement, plant pathologies, soil sciences, but also post-harvest, animal science, and engineering. So all of those topics you can find on our website. I will not take much time here to cover the priority, but you have to make sure to begin with that your ideas, your innovative idea for the application to BOD should be under one or more priority area. Over the years, we actually collaborate, or Israeli scientists collaborate with American science from the entire nation here. You can see from east to west coast. Of course, there's more proposals in those states where we have a lot of common with, like the environmental conditions, or even the agriculture sector is more like what we have in Israel. So naturally, you have more proposals there. And we find also in Florida, you find more, and many others. But over the years, we received around very close to 6,000 proposals, out of which 1,500 of them have been approved and were supported. So our approval rate is about 25%, sometimes more, sometimes less. I think that this time or this year, because because of the changes and increasing the level of the world level, our approval rate will be under 20%. We cannot say how much at this point. Now, if you are submitting a proposal to BOD, you have to be aware. This is the chain of events that we have here. Like many other agencies, we have professional panels which are evaluating your proposal. We are evaluating our proposals by 9 different panels. You can see them here: animal production, animal health, and so on. You can see them here. The one thing which is very unique for BOD, that each one of these panels that you see here on the slide is being operated in Israel, in the United States, meaning that for the animal production, we have actually 2 panels, an Israeli panel and an American panel. And each one of them is evaluating the same proposal with some recommendation, and they are actually doing it separately. It is very, very important for us. This is something which is unique for BOD. But before this, your proposal is going to be evaluated by the panel. We are sending those proposals to experts in the field. We are seeking to receive 4 to 5 comprehensive reviews to each one of these proposals, so the panels can have some opinions ahead of time, so they can really focus their discussion on the metrics of BOD after having some recommendations from experts, as I mentioned. Now, each one of these panels is rating, leveling the list of proposals from the best to worst. And then we have another committee. This is the TAC, the Technical Advisory Committee. And their responsibility is to bring those lists to one list that we have the priority list of BOD. Usually 80% of the proposal do receive almost the same opinion by the American and the Israeli scientists or the panels. However, some, like 20% in average, do have a significant difference between the rates. And this is their responsibility to go ahead to start to read the ad hoc the reviews and the proposals, and to settle it down, and to really to understand why each group, each country choose to put this proposal in a different place. And after 3 days, they are coming up with one list of priorities to handle it to our board. for the decision, of course, this is here, so for the decision, how much of down the list we are going to support every year. So this is our process. I know that it looks a little bit very complicated, a lot of stages, but I can assure you that for BARD, due to a very dedicated team, we complete this process between 7 to 8 months. So it's not much longer than other agencies in the field, and we are very proud that we can meet this schedule and bring the results on time. And another thing which is very important, so I just mentioned earlier that each proposal should fall in one of the priority areas that we publish. But each one of these proposals is being evaluated by 4 different criteria. This evaluation is being scored by the ad hoc reviewers, by the panels, and even by the TAC committee. So we start with scientific and technological merit, feasibility of the objective. You can really accomplish those objectives in time. Anticipate the benefit to agriculture and to the environment. It's very clear the benefit to agriculture, but the environment, you have to make sure that we are actually taking responsibility on the environment, which is at a close, which is close to the agriculture being affected directly by agriculture, of course, in both countries. Last and not least, this is the proposed collaborative arrangement. We really this is one very important criteria for us to see collaboration between the scientific groups, and not that one is taking the load and other is not. And we rate it. Your proposal can be excellent, and probably if one of the teams, the groups, is taking the responsibility to accomplish all the objectives, this is not a collaboration. So please make sure that this criteria is being covered in your proposal. Now, you are going to hear today a lot about some changes in BARD track of application. And in a matter of fact, this year, after 3 years of, we call it kind of a pilot, we decided that the board of directors decided to focus to put all our effort in a pioneer track, which is a little bit different from the regular track that some of you were used to. One, in the sense that here we are talking about more innovative. We are thinking about big ideas that you didn't thought of or didn't apply before because of lack of resources. But we really want you to focus on research that can change agriculture, and not just incremental improvement in a given field, or measuring better some of the constraints of agriculture. We really want you to lead the idea to a change. Now, I really want that the technology will be an excellent technology, a cutting-edge research method that will lead the research there. Now, the impact that we are looking at, it's not just that, as I mentioned before, we are not expecting the product to be there for the market in 3 years, but we really want that some impact will be there. It can be directly to agriculture, but it can be done also to future science direction, which is not less important in both countries. So please, if you are looking for differences between the pioneer and the previous BARD tracks, you can see it here. And of course, last and not least, this interdisciplinary approaches. We view the interdisciplinary activity as a more promising activity in order to, first of all, to draw the collaboration, so each group can learn from others, but also across scientific disciplines that also can bring a lot of innovation and make. Okay. Can you hear me? Can someone wave their hand? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So I don't know how far on this list you were with us here, or so basically these are the difference between Pioneer track and previous regular BARD track. Please, Chaim is going to shed more light on that, so I will not expand much here. And I would like you just to tell you one thing, that if you find any difficulties along the application or you have any other problem, you're encouraged to contact us. Any sort of problem that you have, contact us directly, and we'll do our best in order to solve any issue. So we are here for you. And if we're talking about how to apply, I'm actually giving the stage to Chaim, and he will shed more light on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yoram. My name's Chaim Katz, and I'm going to give a little bit of a higher level information on the application of BARD. We have some very detailed hands-on videos regarding exactly how to enter our website, how to register yourself, how to register your partners, what to click on, what not to click on, filling out the budget tables, etc. All those are we have some very detailed videos on our website, and I recommend before you apply to take a look at that. So again, as Yoram mentioned, we have all our proposals, or all our panels are open to the Pioneer track this year. So we do expect a little more out of the proposals, being that we're funding them at twice the rate. So we we're talking about proposals that will find a new direction or new concepts or new solutions to agricultural problems. We like to see a lot of innovation in these projects, and some good technology. Also, we want to see that they will lead to some practical solutions, and that they are dealing with a real agricultural problem. That's not to say that at the end of 3 years you're going to resolve all the agricultural problems we have, but at least it will put us in a good position to move forward and to take us to the next level of research. Okay, of course, the number one question is who can apply. We serve the nonprofit research sector in the U.S. and Israel. So you have to be a researcher that is a member of the nonprofit sector, university, government, private research institute. We also, there has to be an Israeli and a U.S. scientist on the proposal. So our definitions, we have the PI is the first person on the proposal, and the co-PI, necessarily the second person on the proposal has to be from the other country. Any other investigators added on there are collaborators. The concurrent funding policy, which we'll talk about shortly, applies to the PIs and co-PIs. There's no limit on the number of proposals that you can collaborate on, provided that your funding is less than $40,000 a year. Okay, this is a typical proposal. The proposal is uploaded modularly. Part of it is done through the online forms, and some of it are PDFs that you have to prepare in advance. The cover page with the names of the investigators and title, abbreviations, things like that. That's inputted in our online forms, which will be available on August 15th. And the system will generate the cover pages from that. The abstracts also is entered in the online form. The body of the proposal is a 16-page PDF document that you need to upload. It's one page more than what we've had in the past. And we have an additional 6 pages to go through expected results, timetable, details of cooperation, description of facilities, data management, and we added something in addition this year that's a table of measurable targets. So what we would like to see is that what are the measurable targets you feel you can reach in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, etc. Then we can look back to your proposal when you send us the reports of funding, and it helps us evaluate partly the success of your research. Of course, the bibliography. I just would like to mention the bibliography. Sometimes a common mistake is that it's not done according to our requirements, which is last name and year. The citations are last name and year, and they're alphabetically listed in the bibliography. We don't accept number citations or any of the other methods. It's a 2-page CV, a relevant CV with publications relevant to this proposal. The budget will be entered in the system. And in addition, we have a justification of the budget, which is a 3-page summary. We do allow, if there are investigators who are not listed, they're not collaborators of the proposal, but they're providing some service, such as providing some biological substance or doing some kind of analysis that will help you out. We allow you to add a letter from them saying that they're willing to do whatever it is you requested from them, so that the reviewers don't question whether you have access to the material or not. We do not allow letters that we call cheerleading letters, where somebody says how great the investigators are and that we should support the proposal. In addition to a standard proposal, we have continued proposals, which is the same. It's evaluated exactly along with all the other proposals, but this is one in which somebody has already received a BART project, and the research either continues in the direct line or tangentially, something they found an idea as a result of the research and it goes in a different direction. That's also considered a continued proposal. Here you get an extra 3 pages to describe the achievements that you have made thus far in the proposal, and of course list the publications that you may have in the research project. One can submit a continued proposal in towards the end of the 2nd year of that project, which means, but you have to complete the project before you can start a new project. We'll get into that in a second. Then there's revised proposals. This is one which you submitted previously and was not accepted, and you resubmit the proposal. We allow you an extra 2 pages to respond to the reviewer and panel criticisms. People may ask that, we may have a situation where you applied for a standard proposal that wasn't accepted, and now you apply for a pioneer proposal. So by nature, that proposal will be considerably different. But if the basic objectives are the same, then we still would call it a revised proposal. We would. We think it's good also for the proposers as well as for us. We do send some of the reviews to those that had substantial comments from the previous review. With these 2 extra pages, you can then explain how you've changed the proposal and improved the proposal based on reviewer comments and possibly your expansion of the proposal, if that's the case. And then we have 1-year feasibility studies. A 1-year feasibility study is a maximum of $180,000. This kind of answers the criticisms of peer-reviewed evaluation process, where the best way to get a grant is to do 80% of the work ahead of time. So this is ideal for someone that has a very innovative idea. But there's some bottleneck in the process and need some kind of proof of concept. It's extremely innovative and somewhat risky. And you may not have all the preliminary data which can support the hypothesis. So, but the rewards will be very, very great. So this would be a good avenue to go there, whereas the reviewers might not be willing to put out to approve a project that's dependent on something that has a severe bottleneck at the beginning. This way you can get through the bottleneck, and then if you succeed, you can apply for a new 3-year proposal after. As Joram mentioned, we have the agriculture and desert farming. This is a track where our stakeholders, the USDA and the Ministry of Agriculture in Israel, have given us some extra funds to give some emphasis to these areas. It's particularly important to land-based aquaculture systems and to ecological and agricultural problems that are in arid regions. If the submission is exactly the same as a regular BARD track, the only difference is we ask you to put a click on the cover page to say it's aqua and desert farming. This will give it an opportunity to possibly take advantage of some of the extra funding that is available in this area. But in terms of the application, everything I said up to now is exactly the same, whether you're applying to BARD or the aquaculture and desert farming. Let's say I might have answered some of these questions. Can you apply for one or more than one grant? The answer is yes, but as we'll mention in the second, we have the the concurrent funding, which we'll get into shortly. You cannot receive more than one BARD proposal as PI or co-PI concurrently. So if you submit, you're allowed to submit more than one proposal, but only one of them will be funded. So you should inform if you're submitting with different PIs or co-PIs, you should let them know that you have this other proposal and that's funded. And then only one of them will be funded. And we also will send a letter informing the PIs and co-PIs and those that submit multiple proposals and inform them that that you have submitted multiple proposals. In terms of revised proposals, sometimes there's a stigma that revised proposals are not looked at. They're evaluated exactly the same as all the other proposals. Statistically, they have the exact same success rate as the other proposals. And as I mentioned before, it gives you a chance, even if we don't call it revised, it'll happen. It'll probably go to the same reviewers. If it's revised, we can decide which reviewers that are relevant to that saw it before to see it again. You can respond to these reviewers, and it certainly helps the proposal when reviewers see that you have improved the proposal and taken their advice. All right, so the concurrent funding policy it's relatively simple. Basically, you can only, as a PI or co-PI, you can only have one BARD project at a time. As I mentioned, if you're in the second year of a project or the end of, towards the third year of the project, and you apply for a proposal, you can apply for a proposal. Let's say your project ends September of 26. So you can still apply for a new proposal. If it's accepted, you have to finish that proposal by September 26th, and only after that you can start your new project. We do have a little bit of exception because of this transition year that we moved everything to Pioneer. If you have a standard BARD grant of $310,000, and we will allow you to apply for a Pioneer grant that's eligible for Aqua and Desert funding, and vice versa. If you have an Aqua and Desert funding proposal, Pioneer grant, and you a standard grant in Aqua and Desert funding, and you want to apply for a Pioneer grant in BARD proposal, then we'll let you do that also. But if you have a Pioneer grant, then you cannot apply for a new BARD grant until that grant is finished. This obviously is only for people that have grants. So if you have any specific questions, please get in contact with us ahead of time, and we can verify your eligibility on a particular basis. We just like to mention while you're at, of course, if you do get the grant, then you are obligated to report upon the grant to give the BARDs. We have scientific reports, which is submitted by the PI. He gathers all the research results of all the co-PI and collaborators and submits them once a year. Each funded institution submits physical reports once yearly, and the schedule of payments that BARD makes is dependent upon the level of expenditures that we see in the fiscal reports. If you need more details, it's in our report guidelines. This year we are adding an additional report feature. That's we want a project presentation that we would like towards the end of the second year. And we'll, once we have the awards made, then we'll make some more announcements on that. And we will add to our final report an impact questionnaire, as well as 3 to 5 years following the conclusion of the project. We will go back to the impact to help us in our PR efforts to get more funds so we can fund more of your proposals. Also, it's very important, any changes in the research once you're awarded a grant, if somebody changes in your team, investigator leaves, comes, changes institutions, change of plans, something research, the reason we do research is to see what happens. Sometimes things happen that we don't expect, and decide to go different directions. We want to know about that. And of course, it's very important to us that all the publications that come out of the project are acknowledged by BARD. And also it's important for us to note, because cooperation is so important, we do expect that most of the publications that come out of a BARD-funded grant be a joint publication between the Israeli and the U.S. labs. Okay, we'll go a little bit into the best practices. Yor mentioned the criteria, relevance to agriculture, quality collaboration, feasibility of objectives, innovative research ideas, and the solutions to agricultural problems. We don't apply weights to these criteria. We allow the panel members and reviewers basically to use their own weights, and that's for a certain reason, is that some proposals tend to have very high relevance to agriculture. The scientific merit may be adequate, but not tremendous. But because of that great importance to agriculture, it would get priority funding. And vice versa, it could also happen. But there's certain, I'd say for each criteria, there's a minimal level. For instance, the quality of collaboration. BARD is here because we want to promote the collaboration between U.S. and Israel. And if we see in a proposal that collaboration is very weak, then the odds of that getting funded are very poor. Also, of course, if the objectives are not, even though the ideas are great, but the objectives are not feasible, then the odds of it getting funded are very small. So you have to meet minimal criteria, I'd say, for each objective, and one or two of them, if they get to be outstanding, then that would increase your odds of getting a proposal. And of course, preliminary data will always strengthen a proposal. The clearer the proposal is written with very clear and well-defined research problem, clear hypotheses that are testable, feasible objectives, and good preliminary results. Anyone meeting that formula has a very good chance of in June getting $600,000 for their labs from BARD. There are often many criticisms. One thing that's not here is I'll mention again is a sloppily written proposal with many typos and errors in it that drives panel members and reviewers crazy, and they feel that the investigators didn't spend the time to clean up the proposal, then that casts a shadow on how the quality of the research. So that is very important on top of the more these more substantial criticisms. Hopefully, the extra money in the Pioneer track will eliminate some of these things that like too ambitious. You will have extra funds in order to achieve the objectives, but then again, it still has to be there has to be limits on what you can do. And as I mentioned, the clearer the proposal is written, and the easier it is for the reviewers and the panel members to read the proposal, the better chance you have of getting funded. And I will repeat again the importance of collaboration, particularly in the BARD proposal, that we expect the collaboration to be meaningful. Now, as I mentioned, a necessary condition of submitting a BARD proposal is that the Israeli and U.S. Scientists collaborate to write the proposal. If you have a good idea, but you're a U.S. scientist and don't have an Israeli or vice versa, we do provide a matchmaking service. We are reasonably successful. I won't guarantee success, but we have had many successful matches in the past. So send us a brief CV, an abstract of your idea, the proposal you would type of proposal you would like to write, what kind of expertise you would like your partner to have, of how they can add to this proposal, and we will do our best to find a partner scientist. If that is the case, I suggest you do it quickly because there's not a lot of time left before the September 15th deadline to get a proposal together. If it happens, great. If not, then there's always you have a partner for next year, or possibly even another funding agency. We won't get mad if you send it to someone else. You see there, send an email to Baron, who's my colleague, who also will help and find a partner. Okay, as I mentioned, the detailed information and what to fill out on our website, which will be open on August 15th. You can start the submission. It can be found in videos that we made that give you exactly where to click and what to click and what to put in. I will mention a couple things, especially for those that have done it. First of all, if you haven't submitted a BARD proposal, the first thing you need to do is register. I suggest you do that as early as possible, as soon as it opens August 15th. The website is such that you don't need to submit the entire proposal in one shot. You can do parts of it and work on collaboration with your proposals, but we do suggest that you register, particularly if you're new to BARD, as early as possible. We want you to use your institutional email, and your institution has to be registered with BARD. That could take a day or so to do so. So if you wait till September 15th to register and your institution isn't in there, then that will create a problem. So we want to avoid those problems. So at least get that in as quickly as possible. And also, we tend to look at the proposals as they're submitted. So the earlier you submit, we also can give you some feedback regarding certainly not the substance of the proposal, but the technical aspects of it. Okay, that's all I have to say, so I'll give it back to
We
Vera.
don't have a lot of time, but we will go over some questions that were asked. First of all, for whoever asked, will there be a recording available? Yes, they will. We'll share it after the session. How is the grant money split between between both groups, between the US and Israel?
We don't have a mandatory rule for that, but usually if you split the work between you two groups, between Israel and the United States, naturally the resources that would be splitted also. We are not standing on 50-50%. It actually depends on the objectives and how much not every procedure costs the same. So we are leaving it for you guys. Of course, if it will be kind of 2/3 and a third, we will try to ask a question how comes. But if it's around 50-50, it's okay with us.
The question about the aquaculture or desert farming, it can be either aquaculture or desert farming, or does it have to be both?
Either or, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be right away. Just is IP or anything that they work together on expected to be shared between the Israeli and the American institutions?
Yeah, actually, we're leaving it for you guys to decide who actually had the idea before, how much effort each one of you spend on that. We are not we are not involved in that. Not to mention the fact that we even don't take royalties or we don't request anything. This is between you guys to decide how to do it, and I'm sure that your TTOs in the different institutions will make sure that things will be made right.
What are the regulations around overhead for the grant budget?
The maximum overhead that we allow is 20%. With the exception of the USDA, every other institution will want that full 20%. The USDA, I think it's at 11, something like that. But that's our rule. When you fill out the budget tables online, you have that limit as to what the overhead is, and it's calculated automatically if you go through particularly the video on the budget. I recommend everybody do so. We've also made some changes this year in the past, so I recommend that you go through that video. And of course, any questions you can come to us.
What is the expected start date once you get a grant? When will you be able to start?
We ask that you start before by December 1st of the award year. So the awards are usually made the end of May, early June at the latest, and so you have till December 1st to start.
Have we covered most of the questions? Other questions? Oh, wait, just one.
There's a question which comes very often. Do you need to, or can we submit names of people that you don't want us to send to review? Please don't. If you read very carefully our instruction, it's there. So you can submit names of people that you don't want us to send them for review. In the same way, if you think that your proposal would be evaluated by an expert in the field, you also can. We are not promising anything, but you can suggest also reviewers yourself, which you think might evaluate or might evaluate the proposal in a more clear and professional way.
We have a question about sustainable agriculture and environmental management. If you can give an example of what that means, if there are projects of that type.
Sustainable, well, I don't want to start to translate it, but the idea is that nowadays a lot of the ag activity had environmental footprint, what we call it, and the resources that are being left behind at the end of the season are actually eroded or have a less value. We really want that if you have some ideas how to complete the season and still have your soil fertile, like the region ag, which we accept nowadays. But I don't want to come to list here different procedures. It's very clear that it's very important for us to make sure that the environment or our resources will stay in a good performance and quality for the next season in order to be able to feed us in the future.
Can you add a little light about the new reporting you're asking for, the presentation, and what it will be?
It'll be an online presentation of the investigators. We will probably invite some stakeholders to the presentation, and it won't be a half-hour presentation, something like that. We'll get the details out. We haven't worked the total details out in the schedule, whether we do try to do them in groups or do them individually, that we'll figure out during the year.
Any special additional requirements for aquaculture?
No, it's the same proposal, same, what I outlined there, the 8 or 9 parts that you have to upload. Expect it to be a good proposal, says the other ones. So there's nothing special other than the objectives and such.
Everything is being evaluated by the same measures, so there's no special thing.
Now that there's no longer the standard bar grants, will the proposal have the same length, or are they longer, or do they need to be more concise?
It's very clear. Please pick into our list of, we describe it. In a matter of fact, we have additional page, if I don't wrong, right, additional page relative to a previous proposal. So you need to be much more concise and focused in order to make sure that the reviewers will understand.
Should a feasibility study proposal have the same length, or is it shorter? Is it, have they asked for the same things?
It can be, you can make it shorter, but you're welcome to use the full 16 pages.
We covered most of the questions. The questions we didn't answer today, we'll answer offline. Thank you very much for being with us today. And we're here to help you if you need any technical support or you have any trouble with your application. Good luck.
Thank you very much. See your proposal. Good luck.